Today we're going to use inheritance in Unreal Engine to create items that we can pick up and drop and use. I have a blank third-person project, and we are going to create a new folder. No, I'm going to skip it. Actor BP_item. Let's double click to open up this item. Let's click Add Cube. Let's make the cube the default scene root. That was the cause of one of our issues. And let's set the scale of the cube. Ooh, we shouldn't scale this down. I'm not happy with this solution, but it's where we're at for now, okay? It's just where we're at for now. This is our item, okay? Under the event graph, let's delete these. We're going to create 3 custom events: pickup, drop, and primary action. There we go. All right. We want to get our code to be confirmed to be running as soon as possible. So we're going to build a print strings here that just tell us what we're doing. So pick up, drop, and primary action. Okay. Let's get the third-person character to pick up and use these items. In the viewport, I'm going to create a sphere collision, and I'm going to name it item detection radius. I'm going to set its scale to 4 on the X, Y, and the Z. I'm going to right-click on the item detection radius, add event, on component begin overlap. And when we overlap the thing, can we take this a step farther? Let's think. Okay, since this is the fourth time I'm going to make this project, we're going to take it a step farther and make it so that you have to press E to pick up the thing. So if the other actor cast to item is true, we're going to set this to be a promote to variable, but we're going to call it last touched item. And we need to have the end overlap as well on component end overlap. Let's think. Is the other actor equal to the last touched item? If it is, let's branch. If the item that we just left is equal to the last touched item that we just set, then last touched is equal to nothing. And if it's false, we do nothing. So, did we stop? Are we far enough away from the last touched item? So this is kind of important when you've got items like right next to each other. We could probably build some kind of selection box that uses ray tracing or sphere casting to select this better. But for right now, this is going to do great. And then what we can do we'll do some kind of print string. Yeah, and maybe we'll like make sure that this one's a different color. Let's pick a nice green, and we'll say press E to pick up. If I can spell pick up the right way. Let's go ahead and make sure that this lasts on screen for about 4 seconds as well. And furthermore, what I'll do, I don't know, that sounds good. Keyboard E. Scroll down to the E key. And we'll say if let's do an is valid. So if last touched item is valid, meaning like it doesn't equal nothing like it does here. If it is valid, let's set this as a new variable. Only we're going to call this one held item, because now we're holding it. And out of here, we'll call the pickup function. Right? I think that's right. I've been using Unreal 4 for a while, so maybe that's a bit different. It just looks a little different. Okay, so if we press E, if we have last touched item equal to something, set that something to the held item, use pickup. Let's also set last touched item, set last touched item to nothing. Like that. So last touch is equal to nothing. The overlap does nothing. We can't pick up something again. Okay, let's see if this works. So we're going to drag in our BP item. And we're going to press play. And we'll run into it, and it's going to say press E to pick up. And then we've got pick up again. And pressing E again does nothing, and blah, blah, blah. It's all great. Okay, let's build another one for drop. So I'm going to press keyboard Q. Let's do an is valid check for held item. So are we currently holding something? Are we currently holding something? If it is valid, we can drag held item out and say drop. If it's not valid, we might say a print string that says we're not holding anything. If it's not valid, we can have a print string here. Sorry. That'll say something like, there is no item nearby. Okay. This looks good. This looks good. We've got our drop function. We also want to specify that held item is equal to nothing. So set held item to nothing. Set held item to nothing. Okay. Let's make sure our code works. If we press Q right now, we're not holding anything. If we run over this, press E to pick up. And if we press if we press Q, we drop. And we're not holding anything again. That's great. Oh yeah, I forgot about pressing E. Yeah, there's no item nearby. Love it. Finally, let's do left mouse button. We'll do our is valid check. That's the wrong one. And we're we're checking to see if we're currently holding something. So this is when we want to use our held item. If it is valid, we can call the primary action. And if it's not valid, we're going to call this same print string up here that says we're not holding anything. And that's good. So on our third person map, when we hit play, we're going to get this. Press E to pick up. And then left mouse button does our primary action. We'll press Q to drop. And we're not holding anything. I'm going to take a second and go to my settings, engine scalability. Can we just go to medium? Don't worry about it. Great. Much better. Okay. So that's our functionality. We can add comments around these. Okay, maybe move this one down a little bit. And then we're going to build some functionality into here, what this actually does. So what we want to do here with pickup is we want to, what do we want to do? Well, for starters, we want to snap this to the player. So I'm going to attach actor to component. And for the parent, we're going to drag backwards to pickup, so that in the third person character, when we call pickup, we can specify the parent right here. And we want this to be a mesh, a reference to the character mesh, this thing in the viewport. Now, let's take a second. In the BP item, we have a socket name, which we want to use, but we're going to build our own socket for this dealio. So with your mesh selected, your skeletal mesh, head on over to this skeletal mesh asset, find it in the browser, double click to open it. And then somewhere is the skeleton tree. And we are going to find the hand either on the left side or on the right side. And we're going to right click. Can I see this closer? Yeah. Right click, add socket. And we'll name this item socket underscore R. And we could do things like specifying where it is. So I'm just going to move mine down some. And then maybe this way some. So that it exists kind of in the middle of where the hand is. Like that. Okay, so I'm going to save that. And now this name, item underscore socket underscore R, is the socket that I'm going to use here. For location, we're going to snap to target. For rotation, snap to target. For scale, we're going to keep relative. Now, one thing we're going to run into if we snap this cube to the third person is it's going to try to push itself outside of the capsule, but because it's parented to it, it's going to just kind of push the player off the map. So we're going to drag out of this print string and say set collision. Wait, is it that easy? Probably not. Yeah, I don't trust that one. So let's do set enable collision. Set collision enabled. The new type is no collision. So no collision on the cube, and attach actor to component. Let's see what we get. Okay, E to pick up, and then it snaps right to our hand, right where we expected it to be. And now we're kind of a Mega Man. Got this item kind of enveloping our whole hand. Q to drop, but drop doesn't really do anything. So let's go ahead and implement that now. We can move this up. So on drop, we want to probably detach from actor. Maybe detach from component. Location rule, keep world. Oh, we can leave scale alone. There we go. And we probably need to set the collision back to everything. Let's set collision enabled. And the new type is going to be collision enabled query and physics. Which is what it starts out as. Let's see if that works. Baby steps here. Oh, that's really small. And P. Okay, and Q. Leaves it behind. And if we run back to it and press E to pick up, we can pick it up again. And then we can drop it, pick it up, and drop it. That's great. So one more step, which really gave me a lot of issues today, is set simulate physics. And we'll have it on the cube. No, this way. We'll turn simulate on. So now it will throw itself. Well, it'll drop from where it's at, but let's go ahead and add force to the cube. Again, not what I want. Here. Let's set the force to, I don't know, 1,000, and then maybe 500. Let's see what that looks like. Compile, and play. Pick it up, and throw it. So, pretty puny, honestly, but is it even working? Let's try acceleration change. So this one ignores mass, but it can be extremely different. It's not. That time it was. I wonder if we need to like specify where it is and then throw it. This error that we get here, invalid simulate options. BP cube is set to simulate physics, but collision enabled is incompatible. I'm not sure what's going on there. Like, set collision enabled for physics, so it seems good to me. Oh well. And then finally, we've got our primary action, which for the BP item, we're not really going to touch. Like, as long as we can pick it up and then press the trigger for primary action, we're good. You know, one thing that might be nice is an option to... No, that's fine. Primary action can work fine. We could have done something like on click down and on click up. How hard would that be? If we had a input called held down and it was a Boolean, it wouldn't be so hard for us to go to the event graph, and when it's pressed is valid, held down is true, and then when it's released, copy the same things, duplicate, and then it's released. So we could have some sort of extra variable to tell whether or not we pressed it down or whether we let go of it. I don't think we need that. That's kind of extra. It's going to call it based on this. This is going to call it twice based on held down. That's just a fun thing for me to think about. Okay, back to BP item. Now we've got all this set up. We're ready to just inherit it with our child blueprint classes. I'm going to try BP underscore flashlight. And then I'm going to build another one. BP underscore launcher. And we'll go ahead and drag our flashlight into the scene. Maybe we can find a different material for the cube. But yeah, solid blue, beautiful. And then for the launcher over here, can we give it a cool metal texture? Amazing. Okay, it looks really silly. It's fine. It's differentiated from that one, so I'm good. So what we want to check for here is we want to make sure that since they're children, can we still pick them up? Can we still use primary action? Notice that it's happening twice because primary action is called when I push down and when I let go. I can still drop it, and I can pick up this launcher and drop it as well. Cool. Do I care? Do I care? Do I care? No. All right, let's open up our flashlight. Let's go to our event graph. Delete these things. Let's do a search for primary action. Add event primary action or call function primary action. We want add event. So now whenever this is called on the parent, it's also called on us. And I'll probably just bring out a branch here for this. And if it's true, we'll say print string light is on. And if it's false, print string light is off. And what I'll do here is I'll have a much darker blue. Amazing. Bring it back up. So when I hit play and I pick up the flashlight and I click down, it says light is on. And when I let go, light is off. Light on, light off, light on. Like that. Pretty cool, yeah? And then, so we can do things like have a light and change the intensity based on whether it's held down or not. Let's think about ignoring the on-up entirely. Same idea. We're going to get that primary action. Wrong one. Let's have a branch. And this time, if it's true, we can say print string pow. And if false, do nothing. So we'll hit play. Let's hit play in a bigger window. Pick up that launcher. Pow, pow. So that's down, up, down, up, down, up. Nothing happens when we hit up. Yeah, so that's it. So I've just got print strings. I want you all to figure out how to make actual, flashlights that turn on and off and launchers that launch things. And if you don't know how to do that, find a tutorial. See you all in the next one.